Hey guys, this is Dwayne Estes, Executive Director of the Southeastern Grasslands Initiative. And yes, it is what it looks like. I'm crouching down in the middle of some tall vegetation. I'm not actually standing up in a prairie, but I think if you look around me, those of you that know your plants pretty good can tell that I'm actually crouching down in a soybean field. But it's just not any soybean field. It's one in particular here in Montgomery County, Tennessee, on the northern edge of Clarksville, just about 10 miles away from SGI headquarters. And let me show it to you. Let's stand up and take a look around. All behind me is what will soon be planted in a brand new 50-acre tallgrass prairie. And what's really exciting about this is a project that is funded by Google. Google's Data Centers program is funding this work. And so what today is 50 acres of soybean fields soon is going to be a gorgeous prairie full of big blue stem and a wide variety of native wildflowers. We're actually going to be planting a mix here of about 50 species. And that's also in partnership with Roundstone Native Seed. So as far as you can see back to the edge as it goes up that hill and back to these tree lines, sort of wrapping around here, all the way down to this creek valley. Now, a lot of people would say, why are you planting prairie in a creek valley? And that's obviously a legitimate question. But in this case, this is one of about 2 regions in Tennessee that really stand out, where prairies probably extended into the valley bottoms. So just up on the top of that hill, for example, that was an area that was all extensive tallgrass prairie as of 1800. 200 miles wide and about 35 to 40 miles across. We've got an excellent quote up there from a guy named Reuben Ross in 1812 who said, "It would be difficult to imagine anything more beautiful. For as far as the eye could reach, they seem one vast, deep green meadow, adorned with countless numbers of bright flowers, springing up in all directions. Only a few clumps of trees, a solitary post oak, now and then were to be seen." And he goes on to talk about how the strawberries were so dense that they would stain the horses' hooves a deep red color. So Reuben lived up on the hill behind us. He's actually buried up there. And he was talking about the extensive prairies here above the Spring Creek Valley. But because those prairies were fire maintained, we can imagine then that those fires would have burned down these very gentle slopes into these valley bottoms. And eventually, as they approach Spring Creek over behind us, which is a lovely stream, they would have gradually graded down into thickets of cane brakes, is what we call that. That's basically our Native American bamboo, and into riparian woodlands. And what else is really cool about that is Reuben mentioned 2 birds. I just saw Sheila Shea like this here. 2 birds were mentioned specifically in this region. Number one, up here on the uplands, was what they call the barren hen, or the prairie bird. That's the greater prairie chicken, and it's one of the only documented records from this region of a bird now found primarily in Missouri and points farther west. But the other bird that they said was renowned for its discordant calls, these very loud, sort of almost obnoxious sounding birds, was the now extinct Carolina parakeet, which was actually documented in this very creek valley, in this creek bottom where I'm standing. Is one of the few places in Tennessee where we have a specific documentation for the extinct Carolina parakeet. So there's a lot of rich history here. We look forward to working with Google, to working with Roundstone Native Seed. So part of this grant from Google comes, it's really a great project. Number one, again, we're going to plant this prairie with a really high diversity mix of 50 native species. Almost all of those are going to be local genotype. We're really excited about that. Another large portion of that grant comes in the form of developing a seed bank facility back at SGI headquarters at Austin Peay State University. We're going to be getting that off the ground this fall. And additionally, then there's some funding that comes along with helping to continue to build our volunteer program, which is so critically important to SGI's mission. Well, guys, I hesitate to go on any longer. I know I've been talking for way too long, but I appreciate you guys chiming in, and hopefully in the near future, maybe next year or the year after, this will be a project where we could bring people from the public out to help us restore this beautiful site. Let me show you what it looks like one more time, just how big it is. "50 acres of prairie, guys." Thank you for supporting the Southeastern Grasslands Initiative. Check us out on the internet, segrasslands.org. Be sure to tell your friends about us, and we appreciate all your support. Thank you.